Dark horses. When we always come up to these international competitions, we always say, what's a dark horse that can go quite far? Now, it's not been us racist to horses, it's us talking about the underdogs of the competition. And today, that's exactly who we are talking about. I have about 5 teams ready up that I've gone through, took apart, and thought about why they are dark horses, why people have them going far in competitions, especially this one. And these are my 5 dark horses for the competition. So let's get into the video. We're going to start off with the Czech Republic. Now, they're probably not one that you're going to say, okay, they're not the first one that came to mind. But when you think about the Czech Republic, when England play them, and you see them against other countries, you think, why are they always picking out these little results? In an international competition is about 7-8 games. That's all it is. So all they have to do is win about 6 of those games. Czech Republic are a rigid team. They are very gritty when it comes to their football. They have 1 loss since the World Cup. Now, it might not seem that good to you. 1 loss. No, they still lost. But for a team like Czech Republic, yes, they didn't play the greatest of teams. But their fans will travel in numbers. They'll get behind the team. You have Patrick Schick, who's just won the league with Leverkusen. Yes, he wasn't a starter. When he came off the bench, he did his job. And that's exactly what they need from him here. They need him to just get a goal. Get 1 goal. 1 goal could be enough. You never know. Think about Portugal in Euro 2016. Every game went to extra time in the knockouts. So it could go that way for Czech Republic. You don't know. Their group also is quite easy. They have Georgia, Portugal, and I think it's Turkey. They've got a chance, is what I'm trying to say. Will they do the whole thing? Maybe not. But have they got a chance to get to the round 16 quarterfinals? 100%. Well, I'm not going to talk about these 2 clubs, but Romania and Turkey, a lot of people have. Turkey I've backed before. It didn't go quite so well. Hopefully there'll be a graphic on the screen right now to show quite what happened to them when I backed them last. But yeah, them Romania, for me, not quite cutting it. And maybe, again, Turkey, as we spoke about Czech Republic, their group is probably good enough for them to get out. But for me, I just don't see the quality there. They have good players, but I don't think they're quite set up as a unit yet. And I'll probably be completely depicted by that. Romania, I'm not going to spend much time on them. I just don't think that they've got the team and they've got the squad. So yeah, I think that those 2 will do all right, but I just don't have them as the dark horses. The next one is Poland. Now, Poland were in my dark horses, my top 3 probably before. Lewandowski's now not 100% fit, and that gives me a bit of a worry. I think that Poland, they're always quite solid, but as for in the World Cup, against the big teams, they struggle, which is why I've got them a bit lower down in my dark horse rankings, as I don't quite think that they will be good enough to beat those better teams as some of the teams I've got higher up I think could do. They're a solid unit. They've got a 3-5-2 on the ball. They've got Frankowski and Zalewski on the wings, and you know, Zalewski isn't quite as defensive as probably you would like, but they have Kivior backing him up in that left centre-back role. Frankowski hasn't had a great season at Lens, and if he can bring that in, I think that would be great. They do, however, have a very tough group, and I do actually have them 4th in that group. So you might be saying, why are they dark horses? Because you never know. They've got a tough group, but if they're in the group Czech Republic had, I will back them to come 2nd. So can they get through in 3rd? Potentially. Could they get through 2nd? Potentially. You never know. There's room for an upset with that group. It's between Netherlands, Poland and Austria, who I'll talk about later. But yeah, Poland's good form coming into the tournament. They could carry, hopefully they carry it in for them. I know Matty Cash hurts me as a Villa fan. But yeah, Poland, I think, are a really good team. It's just the group. That's my only issue with Poland, is the group, and if they can get through the group, and I'm questioning it. Next, we're going to talk about Ukraine. Another exciting team with your Dovbyks, your Tsigankovs, your Mudryks, your Sudakovs. Some brilliant players, and they're all quite young. There's so much time for them to grow and improve. I'm probably thinking Ukraine for the next Euros will probably be even better. But they've got a bit of an age in midfield, a bit of an age in defence. But they have Zabani as well. They have a great team. Their goalkeepers, Lunin and Trubin, have had brilliant seasons. Lunin stepped in for Courtois at Real Madrid, did really well. Unlucky not to play the final, but they won it anyway, so the decision ended up being the right one. Trubin at Benfica has had a great season. He's 6'6". He's very scary, but I think, you know, he's at Benfica. I can see him being at an even better club. But yeah, the season he's had, I think he's had 13 clean sheets. He's been brilliant this season. Sergei Rebrov, he's a very successful manager, or he's seen as a successful manager, highly regarded, especially with the Ukraine fans. He had a great stint at Ferencvaros, where they won leagues like 3 seasons in a row. He was great at Dynamo Kiev. That was a while ago though, so you can't really take that one too much into account of recency. But yeah, Ferencvaros, he won the 3 leagues there. I think he went to Al Ain or something, and did okay there. Didn't do great, but still had a decent win record. And I think that with Ukraine, it's all about. It's going to sound like a bit like how do I put this? It's a bit of an assumption, right? But you can assume that they will want to fight for the badge, yeah, because of everything going on in Ukraine with the war with Russia. I don't want to touch on that too much, but I think they will be one of the most passionate nations, both in the stands and on the pitch, that we will see at the Euros, and it could carry them through. I'm not saying they're going to win it again, but it could carry them quite far. They gave England a really tough game at their stadium. Actually, it wasn't their stadium, it was in Poland or Hungary. I'm not sure. It was one of them two, I think. But their fans were there, backing the team all the way. And I think it'll be the same here. I think you'll have quite a lot of Ukraine fans, maybe refugees from Poland coming over for the Euros and supporting the team. You know, hopefully they can do well. I'd like to see them do well. Again, they've got a fairly decent group to get out of. I think they can do it. But yeah, I'm rooting for Ukraine as a dark horse. They're my third choice as a dark horse. They're in my top 3. I think they can definitely get out of the group. It's whether they can take it the next step is my only query with them. Okay, so before I get into my final 2, I'm going to just give a few more shouts outs to some teams I did also consider, but they're not quite for me, not quite there. Albania, I've seen a few people saying Albania are going to do quite well. Again, they have a group they can get out of. But it's another one for me. I just don't quite see it. They've got some decent players. You've got your Broziers, your Strakoshas. I just don't think they quite have enough. Slovenia, again, Oblak, Sesko, Sparar. They've got some good players, but they're not really proven enough for me. They've had some decent wins in the lead up to the tournament, but for me, they're not quite there. And Serbia, again, maybe it's because I backed them at, I think it was the World Cup I backed them at. Again, graphic on the screen will show you that they didn't quite do well. So I've struggled to back them again. They're also in a fairly difficult group with England, Denmark, Slovenia as well. So obviously one of Slovenia and Serbia will go through, but for me, they just won't go past that round 16. I don't see them having a chance to go past the round 16, so I'm just not going to include them in this. We're going to now talk about Hungary. Now, Hungary are in a group where I see Germany topping the group, and then the 3 beneath them can come anyway, right? But out of those 3 teams, Scotland, Switzerland and Hungary, I just see Hungary being the best of the 3. Now, Szoboszlai, straight away, he'll stand up for everyone here as the main player for the Hungarians, and for me, he is too. Across the past 2 years for Hungary, he has consistently scored goals. He has got 5+, 8+ ratings on FotMob in his last 6. Now, obviously, you can't just go off ratings, but it does show you his importance to the team. It does show you how he can carry the team if he's performing. And he didn't have the greatest second half of the season for Liverpool. He had an amazing first half of the season. Second half, he kind of fell off a little bit. I don't know what else to do with, but hopefully his form can be back in the friendlies leading up to it. He's done decently well. For the national team, compared to him at Liverpool, he is a lot more advanced. He's more in that attacking midfield / centre forward roles, just behind the striker. And again, the 3-4-2-1 for them, with their wing backs of Bola and Kerkez. Bola hasn't had an amazing season for his club, but he's had a decent season. And Kerkez for Bournemouth has got better and better. He started the season slightly shaky, some people question if he was ready to start for them. But as season went on, people could see the quality. Iraola's system grew, and Kirkes was at the forefront of that. And one thing I noticed, I was going through all of these clubs. I've done my research, as you can probably tell, that I don't watch them every game, but I've seen plenty of things about Hungary, especially if you remember. It's probably about 2 years ago now. It was in the Nations League. I think it was the 2022 summer, because there wasn't a World Cup. We really struggled against Hungary. Now, obviously, over 2 years, teams can change, teams can get better, teams can get worse. But the way they broke us down, the way they restricted us, especially down the wings, was amazing. Yeah, and if a team just has one striker, Scotland do sometimes play with two. Switzerland will play with the one. Germany will play with the one. They can really restrict those teams, and I can see them getting second in this group. And I think Hungary then could either play us or Italy, I think it is, and then they could be on our side if we win the group basically, and they come second, which I can very much see. But yeah, they don't concede loads. And they score plenty. They are very good at scoring goals. Most games they've scored 2 or more in. Well, of late anyway. And I just see them doing quite well. And they are my second team I think will do quite well. But we're going to talk about the number one. In my previous video, I spoke about this team a little bit. I spoke about how I thought they could do well. I think in that video, I had them in the quarterfinals, I think it was. I think I had them losing to Portugal. But Portugal are a young team. Portugal are going under an evolution under Martinez. And I think Martinez can take Portugal very far in this tournament. But this team, I think, can be a stumbling block, especially if, as I think, they'll finish second in their group. And that's Austria. Since the World Cup, they have lost one match. And that one match was at home to Belgium, which they probably shouldn't have lost. If you look at the stats in that game, they really dominated it. And even though they didn't score their second goal till late on, so they're 3-1 down for a while, they looked really good, and they have looked really good. Under Ralf Rangnick, since he's come in, he turned down the Bayern Munich job in the summer. So that shows you the level that even clubs think he's at around Europe. His 4-2-3-1 is a bit different to most. Now, I'll tell you why. Lima right mid, Sabitzer left mid. You don't normally see that, yeah? That is very different to how people would normally associate 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1, you normally have the 2 DMs, you have the right winger, who's normally a natural right winger, left winger who's normally a natural left winger, and then you Cam and your striker. The wingers create width, and then they're cut into almost like a 4-3-3 kind of thing, or like a 4-2-3-1. But the difference they have with having they don't really play with natural wingers. They have Baumgartner in the 10 who's really productive. They have Seevold holding that midfield. His partners have differed, so I wonder if they have a settled partner for Seevold in that DM. But you got Alaba in centre back. I'm not 100% sure if he's fit. I'm not 100% sure on Alaba, but they have other options. They have Line, a right back. They have very good, very decent players. I don't think Schlager in midfield's fit to play, but they have Schlager in goal. So if you don't have one Schlager, you always have another. Yeah. And I just think with Austria, with how Rangnick is, he has his philosophy. He likes to stick to it. He will be drilling these players like not really any other club in this tournament will, except for maybe Germany and your France. But the way Rangnick is, he's very stern with his approach. He likes football played his way. And Austria, their way to the final is there. If they can just beat the teams, they have some difficult teams. Like I think one of them was like a Ukraine, and then I think it was I don't know. It was on, I don't know. I forget what I've said. It was in my last video. Go and watch that. But yeah, there is a way for Austria to get to the final. There is. And they are my dark horses. Now, as I've said, my previous dark horses haven't gone too well, so take it with a pinch of salt. Don't go betting on it because of this video. Do your research. If you want to put bets on, then you do you. I'm not giving financial advice. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Let me know who your dark horses are below. I'm expecting to see a few Albanias, a few Romanias, a few Ukraines. Be different. So have your team that you support, but have that team you want to do well. as well. That's always fun to do. So yeah, hope you have enjoyed. Leave a like if you have, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys next time. But until then, have a good time. Bye bye.